From the misty dawns of a California golf course, a legend was forged, not in the roaring stadiums of traditional sports, but on the quiet, manicured greens where precision is king. This is the story of a man who didn't just play the game, he reinvented it. This is the story of Tiger Woods. Before he was a global icon, he was just a boy named Eldrick with a nickname that would one day echo through history. We see the grainy footage, a tiny toddler barely steady on his feet, yet with a swing so pure, so natural, it seemed preordained. Beside him, always, was his father, Earl Woods, a mentor, a guide, a military man who saw in his son not just a future golfer, but a force of nature who could transcend the sport and change the world. "I am going to be the next Jack Nicklaus," a young Tiger once declared. Little did he or anyone know he would become something else entirely. He would become Tiger Woods. His amateur career was a sign of the things to come. 3 consecutive U.S. junior amateur titles, followed by an unprecedented 3 consecutive U.S. amateur championships. He was a phenom, a prodigy unlike any the sport had ever witnessed. When he finally turned professional in 1996 with that famous line, "Hello world," the golfing establishment held its breath. They wouldn't have to wait long for the storm to arrive. The 1997 Masters, a 21-year-old Tiger didn't just win, he obliterated the field. He won by a staggering 12 strokes, a record that still stands, becoming the youngest ever Masters champion and the first person of African or Asian descent to win a major. That iconic red shirt on Sunday became a symbol of impending victory. He wasn't just winning tournaments. He was changing the face of golf, bringing in a new, diverse audience and inspiring millions of kids to pick up a club. His charisma, his fist pump, his unyielding focus, it was pure electricity. The Tiger Slam at the turn of the millennium was his coronation. He held all 4 major championship trophies at the same time, a feat no one had ever accomplished in the modern era. He was invincible, a machine programmed for greatness. He wasn't just competing against the field, he was competing against history itself. Record after record fell. The endorsements poured in, making him one of the highest paid athletes on the planet. He was on top of the world, a perfect image of success, discipline, and dominance. But the thing about being on a pedestal is that it's a long, long way down. And then the fall, it wasn't a gradual decline. It was a sudden, seismic collapse. The headlines shifted from the sports pages to the front pages. The whispers of personal turmoil became a deafening roar. The perfect image shattered, and the world saw a flawed human man behind the golfing deity. The fallout was immense, costing him his marriage, sponsors, and the air of invincibility that had defined him. The public hero became a public spectacle. As he tried to piece his life back together, his body, the very instrument of his greatness, began to betray him. The aggressive, powerful swing that generated so much torque and speed for so many years had taken its toll. First, it was the knee, then the Achilles tendon, and then the back. One surgery, then another, then another. The pain was constant, a debilitating force that made walking, let alone swinging a golf club, an agonizing ordeal. We saw him wince, we saw him withdraw from tournaments, we saw him struggle to even bend over. The champion who once stalked the fairways with predatory grace was now a man simply trying to endure. The golf world moved on. A new generation of stars, many of whom were inspired by Tiger himself, rose to prominence. The questions began to mount. Will he ever play again? Even if he does, can he ever win again? The consensus was a grim, resounding no. At the 2017 Champions Dinner at Augusta, he confessed to other golf legends that he was done. The pain was too much. The nerve in his back was shot. The legend was ready to fade into history. But champions fall. Legends rise again. In a last-ditch effort, Tiger underwent a risky spinal fusion surgery. It was a procedure that had ended the careers of other athletes. For Tiger, it was his only hope. The goal wasn't to win majors, it was simply to have a life without constant, searing pain, to be able to play with his kids. Slowly, miraculously, the recovery began. He started with small chip shots, carefully testing his new back. The process was grueling, a testament to a will forged in a lifetime of competition. He had to learn to swing differently, to manage his body, to accept his limitations while still stoking the fire that drove him. His return to competitive golf in 2018 was cautious. There were flashes of the old brilliance, but consistency was a challenge. Yet, something was different. The intense, intimidating focus was still there, but it was now softened by a sense of gratitude. He smiled more. He interacted with the crowds. He was no longer just the Terminator in a red shirt. He was a father, a survivor, a human being fighting his way back. He contended, then he won the Tour Championship, his first victory in 5 years. The scenes were emotional, with crowds swarming the 18th fairway, a sign that the world was ready to welcome back its king. And then came April 14, 2019, the Masters Augusta National. The stage of his first major triumph 22 years earlier, he started the final round 2 shots back. The course was filled with the best players in the world, all younger, all healthier. But Tiger had something they didn't: the wisdom of experience, the scars of his journey, and an unbreakable spirit. Patiently, he navigated the course, applying pressure, letting his opponents make the mistakes. As he walked up the 18th hole with a 2-shot lead, the world held its collective breath. This wasn't just another golf tournament. This was redemption. This was a comeback for the ages, a story that transcended sport. When the final putt dropped, the stoic mask finally fell. A primal roar of triumph, of relief, of pure, unadulterated joy erupted from him. He hugged his son Charlie in the same spot where he had hugged his father Earl 22 years prior. The circle was complete. The comeback was complete. Tiger Woods' story is more than a biography of a golfer. It's a human epic about soaring to unimaginable heights, falling to the darkest depths, and finding the strength to climb back into the light. Not for fame or fortune, but for the love of the game and the love of his family. He taught us that it's not about how hard you fall, but about how you get back up. He is more than a champion. He is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The Comeback King, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you were inspired by Tiger's story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the lives of the world's greatest icons. We'll see you in the next one.